fact. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we're gonna start off with the first segment, Kings of Our Culture, the year of accountability. And with this segment, I always like to try to keep it real to our culture, the black culture, you know what I'm saying? And this segment is like an hour long segment, you know what I mean? And what I want to talk about is today is the reason why our black woman today got these ugly ass attitude towards men. You know what I'm saying? So do anybody want something to say before I go in? Because I'm about to go in. Alright, so be honest with you, like there was a time before these black women had these attitude problems. You know what I'm saying? Like in the beginning of the time, like everybody got like their own perception of the beginning of the time, but in the beginning of the time, even with all life forms on Earth, all life species. You know what I mean? The male, you know what I mean? The female is always submissive to the male. And it really started with like, you know what I mean, like for an example, it started like, you know what I'm saying, like the spoils of war. So let's say for an example, in the Lion Kingdom, if one lion come over and you know what I'm saying, he defeat the lion that got the kids and the wives and stuff, guess what happened? That lion take over that and he keep on a woman, he kick out that male lion or end up killing them and then he definitely kill all the kids. Know what I'm saying? And then any of the boys that's adults that's still there, they get kicked out the family, you know, they just gotta dip off. Get out of the way now. You know what I'm saying? So that's just like how life is, and the same thing with that's why all forces, all species had to, the female species had to submit. Now I mean to the stronger power. Now I mean it's really just force, and the same thing with human nature. When like now I mean when the Romans would come over and take over the Persians or whatever, guess what was happening? They took all their goods, the resources, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So women basically that's the nature, the psychology and the biology of women for them to be submissive. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know what I mean, a little you know what I'm saying? And then like, you know what I mean, things definitely changed up, you know what I'm saying? You know what I mean, basically, you know what I'm saying, 'cause I wrote some of this down, like, you know what I mean? And that's basically how it was. And then things changed though. Things changed. Now I mean one of the biggest things, like the biggest thing that changed was welfare. I don't want to go too deep into this, know what I mean? Cause know what I mean, but welfare really fucked up everything. And Metro, this is where I want you to put one of those videos up there, the ones that I sent you in text. Right here in this part, now I mean, into the chick talking about the welfare and stuff, because welfare really messed up everything. Like before welfare, our black woman had mad respect for us black men. Now I mean, be honest, like you know, it's not about money and being able to provide and all of that. You can go to a Mexicans, and Mexicans is coming over here and they broke as hell, and they wives is mad submissive and respecting them and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So, now I mean, it aligns with what's going on with us today. You know what I'm saying? Like with the welfare kicking the black man out. And then that literally happened. They created the welfare due to World War II. Now I mean to help the families because a lot of women couldn't really work. Now I mean they had to take care of the kids. They couldn't be at work and who gonna watch the kids? You know what I'm saying? So the government came up with these programs that help these families and it was really for the white families and they made it so hard for the black families to get it. But the thing was that when the war was over, when the men came back home, the white women in general and mass got off of welfare, and they allowed the men to take over the home, and the black woman in mass literally stayed on it. Matter of fact, more black women got on welfare after World War II than got off of it and let the black man. I mean, they decided that it's better, it's more feasible for them to allow the government to take over. Now I'm saying, so I think somebody want to say something.
Listen. So the government made welfare, and the only way you could be on welfare was for you to not have a man in the home. Okay, that's where it came from. They didn't come from. Oh, they needed it. No, the only way you could have been on welfare was if the man couldn't be in the home if he was on welfare. So that's how they started separating the families from men. That's why men wasn't allowed, even if they was working, they wasn't allowed to be in that family if they was on welfare. Okay, so
Yeah, you saying the same thing I'm saying because exactly that. The men were definitely. I'm about to. I got it. The men definitely were kicked out. Were prevented from being in the homes, and the reason of that was it wasn't like that in the beginning though. That was added after the war. Now, I mean, before the war, it was literally just here to help assist the woman. To yo, bro, I'm doing the podcast. Just pull up, guy. Hit me when you outside. Yeah, so now I mean, literally, welfare was just to help the women of the men of the. Now I mean, that was where the men that was their men was over in the war. Feel me? But then when the men came home, they adjusted welfare to prevent the men from being able to utilize it as well. They're like, nah, y'all men can't be on it. They basically they gave a woman the choice. If you want the government to give you these houses and all of that, then y'all gotta give up the right that y'all can't be there with no men. And women in mass decided to do that. Now I'm saying they decided to stay on that. They could have got off of it and let the men do it. But to be honest with you, white women too. White women, a lot of white women stayed on welfare, but the difference was, and I mean, give you a lot of credit, give a black woman a lot of credit. The difference was the enforcement and all of that. They were really investigating and enforcing, that shit on black people. They was really investigating y'all and making sure y'all women didn't have men in the crib going through y'all house and all of that. But in the white communities, they weren't enforcing it that much. Now, I mean, the woman was on the housing and all those government subsidies when the man not supposed to be there, but the man is there, living and working. Now, I mean, two incomes at the same time. They allow that to be able to, now, I mean, yeah,
I really don't know where you got your information from, but back to the beginning, we was raped, slaves. They took our men. They hung our men. They took them. They literally took them right in front of that woman. That woman broke down homes. We know the history. You was meant to go to war. You was forced to go to war. They didn't even want you in war. They'd rather you die in war. So that white man wouldn't die in war. After they was raping your woman. And you want to know why we have an attitude. It's history. It's DNA history. I can't relate as welfare because my mother had to work. I have a house. I raised up in a house with a silver spoon. Yes, I was blessed. My grandparents struggled. They made my great-grandfather a slave and have other children with that woman they raped. I got a white family mix because my great-grandmother was raped by a white man. Because they didn't want blacks. They didn't want families. We've been robbed before time of a man being in a home. This is just like a generational curse after generational slavery. Now to poverty of a white man telling you you only can get a certain amount of income. Kick the man in jail because if he did something wrong because he was trying to survive for his family for 10 cents. All he got paid was 10 cents and a nickel. I'm talking history. I ain't talking about no wildlife. We all wild. We all beasts of the field. We got beasts in us. That's why they rape our families. They rape the woman. They rape us from our men. They rape families. Children. They even snatch the children from our breasts to feed their children. Breasts. This is history, not going on deep.
Alright, so it sounds like you going all the way. Hold on.
But you brought up
I got
history.
you, because you're talking about
I'm saying in
back
general.
in slavery time.
No, you talking about
the time I'm talking about is in the 1960s.
And they was
after World War II.
And
they was not slaving us like that. They were not.
Yes, they was, sir.
En masse. Where was it happening at en
In
masse?
the South. They had to move to New York. They had to move to Philadelphia. They had to move this way.
En masse, you saying that it was still a whole bunch of slavery in 1960s, 1970s.
Yes, sir. Where are you?
Yo, anyway, that's not anyway. I mean, welfare definitely happened in the World War II was in the 1940s.
You said why we had an attitude. I'm going to history why we had an attitude.
Yeah, but hold on. She got a point. I'm trying to say because if you really want to go into like the politics of the like blacks and all of that, like black people are supposed to be Republicans. We don't supposed to be Democrats. Democrats was up north, Republicans was down south. So what the thing was, when they started getting rich up north, and they see how black people was living down south, how we started to have black Wall Streets and all of these great things that we was having, they started coming down south and pushing us up north. Now when they seen us graduating up north, like getting better up north, now they're like, why the fuck is these motherfuckers keep like leveling up everywhere they go? You feel what I'm saying? So she has a point when it comes to.
Well, talking with you, then let's stay on that then. You know what I mean? Because it was definitely the North and the South, the Republicans and the Democrats. They both had a slavery mechanism. It's just that the South wanted to keep the actual physical labor of slaves. But the North Republicans, what they wanted to do was change everything to capitalism. And like the system that we in right now, systematically slaving us. Now I mean keeping us down while they keep the white man up. Like if you go to all the credit bureaus, more now I mean 75% of white people getting accepted for credit loans and shit. When we go, now I mean it's like literally the opposite.
That's
literally the point. That's the perspective right there. But going back to the with the time in which she's referring to, that was not happening in mass. Know what I mean? We were free people in 1960s and 1950s. We were free people.
I don't believe we're not even free right now, to be honest.
Nobody's really free, but you know what I'm saying? We literally were not enslaved. We were not had chains and
we are still slaves, bro. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
We are slaves. No, hold on, listen.
Exactly how I was saying. We all slaves through the economic, like I was saying.
Not just the economics, but we are fucking slaves through systematic. So think about this, right? You as a black man having a business, you're still a slave because at the end of the day, you have to pay taxes to the white man. You have to pay taxes. You have to pay taxes yearly. You have to pay taxes. So we always going to be systematically oppressed and depressed because no matter what we talk about, no matter where we go, we always going to have some type of. The only way we are not going to be slaves is if we have our own everything. And what our own everything is black farming, black hospitals, black transportations, black banking, black everything. Everything black. If you don't have that, we're gonna forever be slaves, bro. So it don't matter as long as the white people have everything, because they have everything. They got sanitation, they have the hospitals, they have the banks, they have everything. So if we don't separate ourselves from white America and become our own black America, then we ain't gonna never be free, bro.
Alright, so you know the troubles with that is this, man. Yo. Well, no doubt.
That's what you were saying.
But that's the problem though. What he's saying though, right, is an extra thing, right? It's not like we haven't tried. It's not like black people is slow when we have not tried. Black people till today continue to try when they over there in Africa and stuff, and all those countries in Africa. Now, I mean, every time a black leader in Africa decide that they want to prevent the Europeans from having access to their funds and all of that, now I mean. Because the Europeans is doing a hell of a job at taking the resources from these countries in Africa. You know what I'm saying? So when that's occurring, there are black leaders over there that's trying to stop the shit. They're creating coups. And what's happening though, they keep being assassinated and things and such. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like it's not happening. We are continuing it. And even in the United States, we had a Black Wall Street. We had all of that where they burnt our shit with the planes. It's not like we're not trying. It's like the only time that we are allowed to make money with ease and no problems is when we're doing some type of harm to ourselves. For some reason, every time we start doing some good for ourselves, they come after us and they stop that shit, bro.
No matter.
How do we overcome them and their tactics to stop us? Because it's not like we haven't tried. It's black people who have tried so many times, bro.
It starts with us. We gotta learn to overcome us. We gotta stop having that self-hate. We gotta start looking at each other and hating each other and becoming together. The more we unite, is the best way we're gonna fight everything. Because the white man always want to keep us against us. And it's not just with money, materialism, with women, everything that we see. Like if you really dig like completely deep and look at everything that's going on, not just socially, not just outside of like the social medias and everything, like we still gonna lose, bro. We gonna lose
Because we don't
unless
get
we
together.
build our own shit, come together, absolutely, and we gotta stop looking at each other like our fucking enemies. Like, you ain't do shit to me, so why the fuck am I beefing with you? Why we have problems when we should be fighting the white people and going against the white people? Like, this either gonna be the Malcolm X way, or we gonna lay down, continue to get fucked. Excuse my, what you call it?
It's just what you said. They set it up for that, for we to be enemies of one another.
Absolutely.
Just like Malcolm